All right, Katie, I'm excited to talk to you as always.
Ditto.
Um,
You tunes.
Today we are giving the people what they want, yeah? So often I know we want to talk about all the woo-woo stuff and the stuff that we know that really matters on a deeper level. And so often, I bet you can agree with me, people just come to you with these surface level questions, right? And one of them that we get time and time again is, how do I get a flat belly? And if
Yes.
that is a goal that you have set for yourself, even though I'm saying it's not heart-centered, it's not your soul work, it's still a
Yeah,
cool thing to figure out, right? We all want that damn flat belly.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, the tips that I have for you guys today are not woo-woo. They are in the science-based. So let's begin. So basically, how to get a flat belly? Well, obviously, you can get your abs and everything else, and that's something quite different. That's where you'll need to put a lot of time and energy into exercise. Ask Lena, she'll tell you how to do that. Alternatively, if you just want, just a nice slim flat belly, basically insulin and cortisol are your two hormones, okay, that are really vital and crucial when it comes to getting a flat belly. So we want to be reducing cortisol and balancing insulin. And we can basically start that. So I'll start with insulin first. Okay, so insulin is basically, it's a hormone that balances out our blood sugar levels. All right, so insulin resistance is what we're trying to avoid, and insulin resistance is what can cause us to start to get a bit of a belly. And that leads to more fat around the belly region when we're eating more, sugar, flour, white rice, Coca-Cola, anything really that's high in sugar, will then basically startle insulin, and that will make insulin rise. And then insulin is basically the key to our cells, to unlock our cells to let glucose in. All right, so we've got too much insulin running around the body, and our body is constantly producing insulin because of our high sugar diet. We start to get insulin resistance. Okay, so our body doesn't become as aware and wary and as onto it as prior used to, and so insulin then can't always get into can't always open the cells to get the glucose in. So the aim is really to balance our blood sugar levels, and there's a few little tips that I can give you guys. Obviously the most obvious one is reducing our sugar, and sugar is found in a lot of food. Sugar is even found in marinades. Okay, when you get a lamb from the grocery store, they have added sugar. So added sugar is added to so many things because it does make it taste good. A lot of restaurants add sugar to their sauces, etc., as well, that you may not even realize, which is why it also tastes really good too. So that's one thing that we want to be reducing. Also, I always say to my clients to have a breakfast which is rich in protein and fat. That is the best breakfast you could ever have for yourself, and that will basically help your blood sugar levels be balanced throughout the entire day. And I always know myself when I've had a protein fat rich breakfast, by around 3 p.m, 4 p.m, I'm actually still feeling quite alive and energetic. And when I've had a more of a sugar-based breakfast, by those times I'm feeling quite exhausted. So that's just a few tips to
Can I
give
just
you.
jump in here? Is this gives strength and merit to the argument that it's not just about calorie counting? Because a lot of people will say, so long as you stay within a calorie deficit, you should get the results you want. And so technically you should be able to just eat your 1,500 calories consisting of junk food. But this is why it's so important that it's not just about counting calories, it's the quality of your food, because it's the internal responses, right?
Yeah, absolutely, Lena. Yeah, that's right. And so, yeah, I mean, if you were to do the calorie counting and exercise really hard and eat a certain amount of calories, you might still get a flat belly. There's no doubt about that. But it's just, are you taking in the right nutrients? Is that healthy for you? What about your mind? Looking at the calories all day long. So that's something that I don't really go into with clients. I don't agree with or believe in calorie counting. So this is something that I personally prefer to focus on, where you're actually thinking protein, fat. So protein, eggs for breakfast is ideal. Sometimes people might even have a leftover dinner, which might have been salmon, which some people think, oh my goodness, I cannot get my head around eating a salmon for breakfast. But a meal like that is actually one of the best meals that you could be having for breakfast, which, if you had salmon and a whole plate of vegetables, that would be fantastic. And I do know some personal trainers that actually tell their clients to eat that way. So that is a wonderful breakfast. Or you can just have, a few eggs and a lot of vegetables or whatever else. So that's your protein. The fats are obviously your olive oils, your avocados. You can even add some little seeds to your breakfast as well, which is ideal. So that is what I really recommend to clients to be having for breakfast, as opposed to your cereals, And even your porridges, depending, see how it goes for you. But some people, when they put the porridge, they're having lots of fruit. Fruit is amazing for you, but fruit will increase insulin. Fruit does have natural sugars in it. So we need to be aware of that. People that are diabetic or people that do want to lose weight, that's something that we do sort of say, look, reduce the sugar or have the low fructose fruits instead.
You know, I think it's about understanding that it goes hand in hand too. Like, I know for me, eating a breakfast, like you're saying, high fat, high protein, it's going to enable me to feel more energetic so that when I come into my sessions, the output in what I'm able to achieve in a session is far greater than when I eat something like oats. My body metabolizes that kind of input so quickly. When I eat oats, I'm hungry within 90 minutes, like ravenous, which is great. My body's utilizing that really well. But for the rest of the day, I'm just hungry and I feel a bit flat. So it's understanding that, you know, everything has to work holistically for you.
Absolutely, Lena. And even just like you said, what's your mood? Like the flatness as well. Like that could even be a mood aspect as well. Just see how you are feeling, you know, mood wise too. So another thing you can do as well. So the other thing they recommend is that to have smaller meals throughout the day to balance the blood sugar levels. But some people work best on that. Other people actually work best on 3 or 2 good solid meals. So it really will depend on you and your body. Listen to your own body to work that out. So that's one aspect of, you know, getting that flat belly. And then there is, besides the insulin, there is also the heal your gut aspect as well. So that's, if you are bloated and have lots of gas and have food intolerances, you know, you might find that you don't have that flat belly. So really to get in tune again with what foods work for you, what you're intolerant to. You can do lots of different tests, etc., and they do cost some money. They aren't 100% accurate either. So with my clients, I tell them just to try foods instead. Try something for a week, take it out, see how you go. Even hop off foods for a month or so, see how your body goes and reintroduce them really slowly. That to me is the best way that you can really determine your food intolerances.
And I mean, neither you or I are people that find it enjoyable to record what you're eating. Like, please kill me now, how boring. But if you are going through something like this, it is really necessary for you to record what you're eating so that you can have it as data that you can analyze, or somebody could give it to somebody like yourself and say, this is what I'm doing. Please have some input in what could be causing the gassiness or the bloating that I'm feeling, right?
Absolutely. And you just hit the nail on the head. That's the thing. So you wouldn't want to do this for a long-term, you know, basis at all. But when I do see clients, I do get them to write down what they're eating and they do bring it back each week so I can actually really see what is causing their issues. Exactly.
So how long should you be recording what you're eating for it to be useful data for somebody to analyze?
Good question. Well, it really depends on your body. You could do it for a week. You could do it for a month. You shouldn't really need to do it for longer than a month. So we sometimes put clients on a 28-day program. So for those 28 days, we take certain foods out and then we reintroduce them slowly one by one. Mm. But if you were doing it at home, you could just even, you know, a week or two and see how you go. It doesn't have to be as long as that.
Can I ask you, what are some main culprits for people? Like, are there some common foods that usually cause gassiness and bloating? Like, I know for me, like anything in the cabbage family is like a no-go. It becomes painful and I can physically see a difference. Are there certain foods that you find that are always showing up for people, or it's completely subjective?
Yes. So bread, wheat, and dairy. Dairy actually being a main one. Yeah, dairy is quite a big one. And if you look into the FODMAPs, you can also see that's where like you said, the cabbage family, cauliflower, etc., might be causing some gassy issues, even garlic, all those types of foods too. I personally still see so many benefits in eating those foods. So I say to my clients, even if you try to cook them, you know, maybe reduce them for a moment, but ideally you want to be bringing those in if you can, because they have a lot of nutrients. Other foods like legumes, so the beans, etc., can cause lots of gas and bloating. And it just really depends how long you cook them for, if you soak them, how you prep your foods to assist you with that. But dairy, cheese, chocolate, milk, yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one.
About weighing up, how much do you really want this flat belly, right?
Totally. Well, that's the next thing. I mean, being happy with your body and not always trying to achieve that, you know, flat belly. Is there
I'd like to just take this opportunity to say, like, I have been a person who has eliminated certain food groups in the hope of achieving a certain look. And I want to say the difference between the way that I look when I'm eating the way that I am now, which is, I like to call it intuitively, giving myself whatever, whenever, basically, you know, it's not restricting foods based on, you know, the outcome that I'm hoping for my body. And when I have removed everything that was refined, everything that was processed, it's kind of like a very minimal difference, to be honest, that, you know, you really have to weigh up. There is a difference, honestly, but for me, I'm not somebody that is using my body to kind of, you know, do anything necessarily. If you're a competitor that is getting on stage, if you're a model, I guess it might be useful. But for the everyday person, the difference between doing all of that and just eating, you know, a well-rounded diet that includes things that you like, I just want to put it out there that you're not going to have that dramatic of a difference, that I feel like it's worth taking out everything that you love from your diet.
Oh, absolutely, Lena. You do not want to ever deprive yourself. I don't have a flat belly at all, so it's funny that I'm even talking about this subject, and I never have. And it's just, my genetics have never been one to give me a flat belly. Even when I was a lot skinny, I still had a little bit of a belly. So again, it's just, I eat for nutrients. I do still try to eat to, you know, balance my blood sugar levels, and I am always focused on reducing stress and cortisol, etc. But I'm not looking at that belly thinking, oh, I need to reduce this because I've just given up. I've worked out that this is always going to be my body, and yeah, I'm more focused on health. So
Steve and I were looking at photos of ourselves, you know, from about, it's probably 10 years ago now. And, you know, we both had six packs at the time, and we were saying, like, there is literally no correlation between the way that your body looks and your level of fulfillment and happiness. And we were saying, like, you know, both of us now, we're still in good shape, but we don't have that, you know, fitness physique necessarily. But, you know, we do give ourselves the opportunity to be spontaneous and to just, you know, have that little bit more fun. And how we wished so much that people would realize, in sacrificing the desire to have this perfect body, you actually make more room in your life for things that are far more fulfilling. And, you know, you can connect with family and friends in this way that feels so much more free than when you're being a person that is restrictive and obsessive and, you know, counting everything because you're so tunnel visioned on this particular image that you think is going to make you feel a certain way, and it just doesn't.
absolutely, it doesn't. Yeah, you're right, Lena. It doesn't. And you know, being at a party and wanting a glass of wine and being on this strict diet and depriving yourself at these moments, it just doesn't bring you as much joy and happiness. Not that I'm saying drinking does bring joy and happiness either, but yeah, having that freedom to be able to choose what you want, have a bit of chocolate, etc., is much more long-term healthier, I think, as well.
Yeah, beautiful.
So
All
I'll
right.
move to the cortisol.
Yes, please.
As well. So basically reducing cortisol. So cortisol is your stress hormone, which again, that can increase the belly fat. So there's lots of different ways you can reduce cortisol, and everyone's got their own that works for them. It's really important to work out, you know, how can I relax? Is meditation something that I do? Is yoga? Is exercise? Whatever it is that works for you. Sleep is also crucial when it comes to this, and trying to ensure that you're getting the 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. There's lots of different articles out there that give you lots of different tips on sleep. The main one is to make sure that you go to bed and wake up ideally around a consistent time, give and take, you know, an hour or so each way, each night. So, and also the hours before midnight, they say, are just really valuable to the body, as opposed to after midnight. So you might find that, you know, if you ever go to bed at 3 a.m. to 10 a.m., your sleep just isn't as really deep and the quality isn't as great as if it would be if you went to bed at 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. So that's really important too. And ensuring even throughout the day that you've got at least 20 to 30 minutes of relaxed Zen time, even if you break that up, 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening, or wherever it is, but just actually putting time aside for yourself, off the, you know, getting off the computer screens, off the phones before bed, even getting off watching horror movies or, you know, anything stressful, the news, TV shows that just cause you, you know, you more of negative emotions. So that's really important too. So
Why is it a problem? Sorry, why is the cortisol a problem in terms of a flat belly?
So cortisol is the stress hormone. So it increases, well, yeah, basically cortisol is, you know, will add to the body, basically keeping it holding onto the fat, okay, which typically happens around the belly as well. So if you have a lot of cortisol in your system, you won't be burning as much fat. And that just disrupts all the different hormones throughout the body as well, including insulin too. So yeah, that's the reason behind that.
Love it. Okay, cool. So telling us to sleep more and relax more for that flat belly. I think that's one we can all get behind. I think, okay, I can do that. The dropping chocolate, not so sure, but I can sleep more. Sounds good.
Exactly. And when they do talk about as well, abdominal adiposity, which is a fat around, I mean, we're talking about a big fat belly, and that is a health issue that does increase the chances of heart disease, diabetes, you know, it will reduce your lifespan, etc. as well. So, you know, that is what you want to avoid. But needing that flat board belly is something that, you know, you just need to work out yourself if that's something that is achievable and how happy you can be. Get into that.
Yeah.
But just trying to avoid the big belly is the aim when it comes to, you know, long-term health as well.
Yeah. I just thought it was so useful to jump on with you because, I mean, we know people can do all the exercise in the world. You can do every core challenge that's offered on the internet. But if you don't get these things to come to the party as well, you're just not going to get the result that you want. As many crunches as you do, nothing much is going to change physically.
Absolutely, Lena. And that's what I say to clients too, just 70% focusing on your stress and, you know, what you're eating really is where, you know, optimal health lies. And then obviously 30% exercise too. But if you do want that, the abs and everything else, we need to do more than, you know, 30% exercise. But yeah, that's right, Lena. You're right.
I'm going to stop you there because what I like to say, and I wonder if you agree with me, I think it's always 70-30, but I always say that 30 shouldn't be undervalued and that 30% should be really effective and efficient. So it's not always about doing more necessarily, but it's about making that 30% more powerful and more valuable, you know?
Absolutely. And that's the thing too. So exercise can actually be counterproductive. And if you do too much exercise, that increases cortisol. And I've had lots of clients that have said, I'm not losing any weight and they're working out probably too much. So you're right there. Yeah. Find what will work for you.
All the times that I've wanted to transform my physical appearance, I actually drop the amount of exercise that I do. So
wow.
For me to look my best, I do less exercise because it allows my body to rest and recover and repair. So obviously my lean muscle mass can build faster and I have greater control over my hormones and what I'm eating. So more exercise is never, ever, ever the answer.
Yeah, that's perfect, Lena.
Mm.
And listen to Lena because she has an admirable body. So there you go. That is so true. That's amazing. I agree with that.
It is. I think, more is never the answer, I think. But more information about food and hormones, I think, is what people generally do need. So I thank you for your time again today, Katie.
My pleasure. Anytime.
We will catch up with you again soon.
Sounds great. Have a great day.